Hello, finally I'm back! Yay! It really wasn't my plan that the end of the year would look like this, but here we are. I'm going to end this year off with my annual drawing that I have posted 2 times now, but I've made like outside of YouTube for a long time. Not exactly how I wanted it to go, but suddenly I had to move and then I didn't have any Wi-Fi for like a solid 1.5 month, so that was fun. But let's take a look back at this year, shall we? I uploaded 17 videos. Some art, most of them are games. We finished Little Nightmares 1 and began Little Nightmares 2. I plan on finish it, don't worry. We didn't finish it in time for Little Nightmares 3, but that's alright. Otherwise, nothing really that big happened for this channel. We almost hit 100 subscribers, but that will come eventually. Otherwise, it's just a big thank you for all of you who clicked on one of my videos throughout this year. Thank you for all the new people who subscribed, and thank you for all of you who didn't subscribe, you still watch some of my stuff. Thank you for the recurring people who for some reason keep coming back to my channel and my videos. I don't really know why. And Jesus, I can't talk today. Just a great start. But I really do appreciate you all. But enough of that sappy stuff. But still, thank you. Let's talk about this drawing that I'm drawing. So this drawing is something I've drawn every year, and I have done it, as I said, way before YouTube, before I started YouTube. The first drawing is from 2017, so ish, way back. It's fun to see how differently I draw each year. From day to day you don't really realize how much progress you actually make, but seeing the change in front of your eyes, it's like boom! Honestly, I didn't think my art would have changed that much throughout this year. I don't feel like I've drawn that much, but apparently I've drawn enough to make a big change, I feel like. Though something did happen between some of the Slime Rancher redraws video, specifically between the Tar and Tabby's line. Those are wildly different art style for some reason. I'm not necessarily satisfied with this drawing. Something with the clothes and the color doesn't really fit. I kinda have made it hard for myself because suddenly throughout this year, or throughout the years of drawing this, there has become some sort of trend where I will redraw this drawing and I will keep changing the person's clothes in a way. And yet I've done it again. Maybe it will be better to just keep the same clothes so the art style stands out more in itself. But as my art has changed, so has my style and how I style my characters. So it will also kind of be a lie, it wouldn't really fit in to keep the original clothes. With the change of clothes and the new pose, the story behind the person also keep evolving. I kinda envision them as a godlike entity whose power is based on the universe, or maybe it's just a person who likes to play amongst the stars. This is something I don't really quite know yet. They just started existing, but the story have been painted out throughout the years. What the story is, I don't really know, but whatever. You figure it out. Write changes story in the comments. Yeah, I named them Change last year. I gave them a split black-ish dress and star earrings. They also got some pink ballerina shoes and pink puffy sleeves, half sleeves. Kind of a different story from last year. They also got a staff, almost like Change is her kind of magical girl now, huh? I also wonder why their skin is blue. Maybe some smart people can tell me in the comments. I started with a post I liked on Pinterest. The original artist was not credited, but it was a line art drawing of Adam Eve, I believe. I had the picture on my phone in my hand and I drew on the screen, glancing at my phone, like kinda eye tracing it, if it's a word. That's something you can say. I wanted a lot of line details, so example in the hair, there's like a lot of individual smaller section drawn out instead of just like a big blob. Something I also realized is my lines have become slimmer than they were last year. This drawing is pretty and now I'm coloring it. It's annoying because I don't know how... I use Krita and I don't know how it works, but I keep painting like individual, because if I use the bucket tool, it just it completely ignores my line art that I have made and just fill out the whole page with the solid color, which isn't what I wanted. So I do this manually by making the like a solid color underneath all the rest of the colors, and then I put a clipping mask on top of this. In this example, it's a red color. I put a clipping mask so I can't outside the red color, but I don't know how to make it easier for myself to just make the red color a solid color. So I make it a little gradient because the hair has become gradient. It's also something I find there's some things about this drawing that I don't really like. Some of it is just specifically to this drawing, some of it is to the character. I didn't like how much blue there is. I've changed that throughout the years, but the skin tone and the hair color is both blue, which is a little bit much blue. But I don't know if it's too much of a change to change the hair color or the skin tone to another color. I think that will be a little bit too much because I keep changing the clothes and the kind of energy the character is giving. But the hair color and the skin tone is something that's been consistent throughout every year. Of course, there's become a bit more of a gradient in the hair. There wasn't that to start. But I did actually try to mess around with a bunch of different hair colors. Like lime, mint green, and bubblegum pink. Not really bubblegum, baby pink. And I like those two. Maybe just also because I used light pink or baby pink for the sleeves and the ballerina shoes. But yeah. As said, this drawing is pretty, but it's not perfect. My style has certainly like grown up in a way. It's much more like mature, if that makes sense. I started when I was younger. When I started drawing, I found a lot of inspiration in manga and anime. I think a lot of people did, but I remember I used to borrow this book from the library, where it's like a manga style, art style book that you could draw after. So that's where I kinda began. I think that my arts maybe probably still have something from that time, like the big eyes and stuff. But I think it become a little bit more realistic in a sense. I don't have a realistic style, very stylized, but it's a bit more mature. As I said, I don't know how else to describe it. So here I'm rendering the person, and I don't really feel the rendering style is kind of lazy. I think I could have done a lot better. For example, one of the problems I have with this drawing is the light doesn't make any sense. I needed to make a focus point for the light, but I kind of just ended up choosing a bit too late, and I hadn't really made up my mind completely, so it's just random light that comes from above that doesn't really have a source in a way, which is very typical of drawings, I feel like, at least of mine. But it doesn't doesn't really make any sense. Why is their leg shiny? I don't really understand. I also think just the rendering is another problem that I kind of have. The rendering doesn't really make sense. There is there is a little bit that makes sense, and then there's a lot that doesn't really make sense. I think if I use like 20% more just my time, that I will have a better result. But I was so lazy. I was kind of done with this drawing, and that's kind of sad. But I ended up using 6 hours on it, which I feel like is a lot. And I just became so lazy at the end. And one of the reasons I became so lazy was because I used 6 hours on the same project, but also because I started the drawing, made the sketch, aligned it, put down the solid colors, and then I left my house for a couple of days. And then when I've left the house to spend time, I spent Christmas with my family. And then I came back to finish it, and maybe it felt a bit more like work than a passion project. Also because I have to finish this video. So that's maybe why I'm not completely satisfied with it. I also made this staff, which is cute, of course. And then it comes a little bit later in the video where I make the star in the staff to like kind of glow, but not completely glow, just weirdly in between. And I also don't really make light come off it like it glows, but it's a pretty cool idea. I just came up with it when I was kind of done with the drawing also, just in terms of, oh, it's almost finished, and oh my god, I'm almost giving up on this drawing. It takes forever. So it's just, that's also just a weird idea that didn't really go anywhere. And also with the light, and there's just a bunch of details like on the staff shadings that could have been a lot better. If I used some more time, I could make it look a little bit more metallic, or just a little bit better, I guess. Something I kind of really like is the eyes, which is funny because I don't really normally draw eyes like that, but and it's funny because they're kinda ish more realistic than my style, so they feel kinda out of place, but I think it also gives it a little bit of charm in a way. Well, we have come to the end of this video, and let's conclude this year's drawing the same drawing I've drawn for like 8 years or something video. Man, I really need a better title. Here you can see all the finished drawings I made throughout the years. I hope you like it and that you can see a change. I think you can. I hope you will stick around for the new years, and sorry for the internet I left for a little while. I know it was so hard, you couldn't watch my new stuff, I don't know. I had a great time. I want to make another So Many Times I've Died This Year video. I think they come out around January though, only. And to sum up my New Year's resolutions I made last year, we didn't hit 120 subscribers, but that's okay. And we didn't even make 24 videos. So let's make a new goal that is a little more simple. I want to upload at least one video each month, at least. There will be more, of course, but since I didn't upload any video in November, I think that's doable. 12 videos at least, hopefully more, of course. And yeah, thank you for watching at least this video, and thank you for sticking to the end so you can hear this. If you have any ideas or things you want to see me make, play, say, do, whatever, you can leave a comment and leave a like if you like this video and subscribe if you like me. If you want to see more, there's more stuff and there's more coming in the future. But all I have left to say is bye.